Well guys, it seems Starmer, Labour and old Jess Phillips is being internationally shat on after their recent decision to reject calls for a national inquiry into the Oldham grape gangs. This comes after Oldham Council themselves asked the Home Office to investigate it, and this demented trout turned round and said no. Which on its own would be incredible to most people, but considering the fact she herself has admitted that it happens and still happens now, yet rejects this, is a next level of taking the piss.
Actual reality of what is happening in government currently is a sticking plaster announceable thing like the grooming task force. We're a year on from the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse. Years and years worth of evidence. And a year on, not a single one of the recommendations. The government have said they'll take some of them. There's no timeline for when any of those recommendations are going to happen, and that's both about prevention and supporting of victims who have been victims of sexual violence in childhood. It's just, the Prime Minister, this is nowhere near the top of his priority list. I'm not at all reassured. Rishi Sunak is doing nothing. And today, exactly what happened in Rochdale is happening in every single part of our country.
Oh yes, that's Jess Pisslips attacking the last government for doing nothing to stop it, only a year before she sits in a position of power and chooses to do nothing to stop it.
Fuck pig.
I guess like Naz Shah, she wants us all to shut up for the sake of diversity, which in 2025 could well be Labour Party policy and law before you know it. Shit, we got people doing years in prison for spicy words online, so it's only a small step to prison sentences for crimes against diversity at this point. Of course, we all know why Jess Pisslips and Labour are going to tiptoe away from this issue, and that is the fact Jess Pisslips' constituency is overrun with the sort of diversity that would be implicated in an inquiry. Plus, some of us remember the last time Parliament debated a report on this. Both sides tiptoed around the issue at hand and some blamed the bloody far right.
And these falsehoods are exploited by the far right to create racist divisions within our society, perpetuating myths and stereotypes.
At the height of the first lockdown and in the middle of a pandemic in Barrow, we had the indignity of the far right turning up, stoking up tensions in our town, leading physical protests and convoys of vehicles down the A590, all the while proclaiming that they were doing it in the pursuit of justice.
Now, probably a bigger problem for Labour and directly Jess Pisslips here is going to be the fact American Twitter accounts keep posting about this, which includes Elon Musk stating that she deserves to go to prison. This many would well agree with, but some like me would go further and say every MP on both sides deserve prison for the fact that this happens and still happens to this day. This was brought up in Parliament years ago, including the scale of it, and still nothing has been done.
But except that if we extrapolate nationally, the Jay report on Rotherham and other reports on Telford and Oxford, there appear to have been upwards of 250,000 young white girls raped in this century, very largely by Muslim men. And given these girls are usually raped several times a day for years, so, my lords, what is the government's answer to the Chief Constable of Northumbria, who has just said that there is every likelihood that these grooming gangs are operating in every one of our major cities? So, my lords, what is the government doing to prosecute those in authority who turned a blind eye to all this because they were afraid of being Islamophobic and so on? And what is it doing to compensate and help these victims mentally?
Yeah, you will notice none of them gasped when he talked about white girls being raped, but they all gasped when he pointed out the scum that did it. That there is exactly why none will go to prison, but the fact Musk and others are boosting this story now means the world knows the British state not only allowed young girls to be raped by foreign scumbags, but still refuses to investigate it for the sake of diversity. We all know if this was a far-right grape gang running around committing these crimes, the police, the state and woke Wangstein King would be hunting them down like dogs and parading them around on TV when caught. Of course, that wouldn't happen since the so-called far-right are not dirty pedo cunts, but I'm sure you get my point. The fact, though, Elon Musk has been shitting all over Jess Pisslips and now Starmer with this, though, means it will create a complete shitstorm for Labour that I'm sure you will agree is a net positive all round. But this could have a real positive not usually seen with this discussion, in that it might reach girls currently suffering these scumbags around the UK, giving them the courage to escape from it, because like I said, it still happens in many towns countrywide. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in every town at this point, given the fact diversity's been imported at record rates. That's why all politicians, in my mind, should be locked up as accessories to every crime committed by an import. The same goes for the open borders fuckpigs as well. Shit, I'd go as far as saying the rule as low as Jimmy Savile in my book. I don't know about you lot.
Pandemic